You know that feeling, right? Your heart just drops when you see that official-looking envelope from the IRS in your mailbox. It's even worse when you're active in crypto. But hey, take a breath, don't panic. Getting one of these notices is actually way more common than you think. And believe it or not, there's a clear path to getting it all sorted out. Let's break it down.
Okay, first things first, and this is the most important thing to remember. That letter, it isn't a final bill. It is not a verdict. Seriously, the best way to think about it is as the start of a conversation. The IRS is basically just saying, hey, we got some numbers from your crypto exchange and they don't quite line up with what you told us. Can you help us connect the dots? And the great news is, you absolutely can. So let's pull back the curtain on this official-looking document. What in the world is a CP2000 notice, and why did it show up on your doorstep? It all boils down to mismatched information, and just understanding that is the first step to making this whole thing go away.
See, the IRS has this incredibly powerful computer program, and you can think of it like a giant matching game. It sucks in all the data from crypto exchanges, your job, your bank, and it compares it line by line to what you filed on your tax return. When it sees something that doesn't match up, poof, it automatically spits out a CP2000. So the key here is that this is an automated flag. Now it's your turn to provide the human context and set the record straight. And you absolutely have to respond. Whatever you do, don't just toss it on a pile of mail and hope it goes away. It won't. In fact, ignoring it is the worst thing you can do, because it can escalate to something called a statutory notice of deficiency. And that's when things get way more serious and a legal countdown clock starts ticking. A simple, documented reply stops that clock right in its tracks and is, hands down, the fastest and cheapest way to put this all behind you.
All right, so why is this happening so much to people in crypto specifically? Well, the answer is all about a new reporting form and let's call it a blind spot in the data the IRS is getting. I want you to meet Form 1099-DA. This is the new kid on the block that your crypto exchange sends to the IRS. And here is the trap. For 2025, it typically only reports your gross proceeds. That's the total dollar amount you got when you sold your crypto. What's missing? Oh, just the most important number of all, what you originally paid for it. That's your cost basis, and without it, you can't possibly figure out your actual profit.
This slide just lays it all out perfectly. The IRS computer sees the column on the left, the total sale price, and it often assumes that whole amount is pure profit. But your reality is over there on the right. You know that you have to subtract your cost basis, what you paid for it, to find out what your real gain was, or maybe you even had a loss. The bottom line is, without your help, the IRS is working with only half the story. And if you need proof, just look at this chart. It tells the whole story. A whopping 75% of these crypto notices are triggered by one simple thing: missing cost basis. It's not even close. The next biggest trigger? The system getting confused and thinking that a simple transfer between two of your own wallets was a taxable sale. Your entire job here is to fill in those blanks for them. And these differences can be absolutely massive, but they are totally fixable. I mean, check out this real story from a reader. The IRS system flagged what it thought was an $84,000 gain. But after they went back, dug up the records from a couple of exchanges and a cold wallet, what was the real corrected gain? Just $3,700. That is the incredible power of a clear, documented response. Okay, so you've got the notice, you get the problem now. So, what next? It's time for an emergency action plan. These first 48 hours are all about taking back control and setting yourself up to win.
Do not waste a second. The day you get that notice, that's day 0. The clock is ticking. Find the deadline on the letter and put it on your calendar immediately. Day 1. Your mission is to create a proof basket, a folder on your computer where you start gathering everything. Download all your 1099s, your transaction histories, those CSV files, all of it. By day 2, you should have a pretty good idea of where you stand and whether you agree, disagree, or maybe partially agree with what they're saying.
So let's just lock in those 3 key actions. 1. Calendar that deadline. It's usually 30 days if you're in the US, but find it on the letter. 2. Build that proof basket. Get all your data in one place. And 3. Figure out how you're going to send your response back. The notice itself will tell you if you can upload it online, which is great, or if you need to use fax or good old-fashioned certified mail.
All right, the first 48 hours of triage are done. Now comes the real detective work, the 7-day reconciliation. This is where you actually reconstruct your financial story and build the mountain of evidence to prove your case.
Okay, this is a huge one, right? It's one of the biggest reasons for these notices. You moved some of your Bitcoin from Coinbase to your hardware wallet. To the IRS computer, that just looks like a sale. So the question is, how on earth do you prove that you were just moving your own money from your left pocket to your right pocket? The answer is actually way simpler than you'd think. You just create a simple log, just like this example on the screen. It's a basic table showing the date, where the crypto went from and where it went to, the amount, and this is the key, the transaction ID, or the TXID. That transaction ID is your verifiable receipt on the blockchain. This little log is all it takes to clearly show these were non-taxable movements, not sales. So here's your game plan for the week. First, recalculate your actual gains and losses, probably using Form 8949. Second, create that non-sale transfer log we just talked about. Third, make sure you separate out your trading activity from other income like staking rewards or airdrops. And hey, what if an exchange you used went belly up? Don't despair. You can use your bank wire records and block explorers to reconstruct what you paid. Best available evidence is always, always better than saying nothing. Okay, you've done all the heavy lifting. You've rebuilt your financial story. Now for the final and most critical step, putting together your response packet and sending it off. Now pay attention because this little table is probably the most important part of your entire response. Do not write a 5-page novel explaining everything. Instead, you're going to lead with a super clear, concise summary just like this. For every single item the IRS is questioning, you show their number, your corrected number, the difference, and you point them directly to the evidence. You're making the IRS agent's job easy, and that's exactly what you want to do. All right, here it is, your final pre-flight checklist before you send anything. You're going to include the signed response form that came with the notice, your 1-page summary letter with that powerful little table, your Form 8949 calculations, your non-sale transfer log, and finally, your supporting documents. And whatever you do, I don't care if you upload it, fax it, or mail it, get proof of delivery and keep that receipt somewhere very, very safe. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that you have the power to fix this. Just remember what we said at the very beginning. That envelope is a proposal, not a final verdict. Your evidence doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be honest, consistent, and easy for another human to follow. By providing the information that their computers missed, you're not just fixing the record, you're turning a moment of pure panic into a moment of empowerment. You can do this.